Good morning. Welcome to the call. This is Sheila Dixon. I am the Executive Director of the Northern Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, and I'm very excited about today's second presentation where we are discussing technology's impact on minority businesses. Today, we're going to talk about big data, data analytics, and artificial intelligence. And again, I would just like to thank everybody for their time and enjoy the conversation. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Caprice Ayers, who is the CEO and president of JuneGem Technologies Incorporated.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Again, I'm Caprice Ayers, the owner CEO of JuneGem Technologies, an IT professional services firm headquartered in Hyattsville, Maryland. Thank you so much for having us here today. Today, we're going to kick off our session by having a word from our sponsors. Thanking them for joining us. We're going to start with Mr. Paul Davis and then a word from Barry Duvall.
Well, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Paul Davis, and I'm the Managing Director partner with CDP and Associates. Also a proud member of the Northern Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce and the Alliance Technology Consortium. I'd like to bring your attention that the SBA says that to be a small business, you have to have less than 500 employees. I would change that to say, really focus in on less than 50 employees. And oddly enough, though, in America, over 99% of those firms in America are what we term to be small businesses. And so today, we want to concentrate and understand, particularly in the minority communities, how these businesses will be impacted and changed because of what's going on with the technological revolution that is taking place. Again, I bring to everybody's attention, we have the equivalent technology leap of the Industrial Revolution, which was over 106 years, now every 6 months or less. And so, again, thank you for attending. Hopefully what you learn here today, hopefully the companies that you interact with today, you'll remember them and reach out to them so that they can help you with this challenge. Again, thank you from CDP and Associates.
Hi, I'm Barry Duvall, President of the Virginia State Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this program and to bring you a greeting on behalf of the 26,000 members of the Virginia Chamber of Commerce. You know, it's an exciting time to be in business in the Commonwealth as we come out of the pandemic and begin to recognize that technology is going to help us transcend into a new economy. The fastest growing sector of our economy is the knowledge-based economy. So I'm pleased to see your panel focusing on technology and specifically technology's impact on minority businesses. Virginia has been recognized as a leader in cybersecurity and a leader in technology across the United States. You may not know, but over 50% of the world's internet traffic passes through Virginia every day. We are a hub for technology centers and data centers, and we are a hub for cybersecurity and technology workers. I'm really pleased that the Virginia Chamber can partner with the organization sponsoring this event in order to be a part of this program. I want you to know that we are supporting a couple of initiatives that we think will help minority businesses grow and prosper. The first is money for grants to help businesses start up. We think this is an important part and should be provided in a way that will be constructive for businesses across the Commonwealth of Virginia, including our minority communities where access to capital has not always been easy. I also want to say that we think mentorship programs are important. And I want to compliment the Virginia businesses that are coming alongside small businesses throughout the Commonwealth to assist them in growing their business. I also want to recognize the organizations like the Northern Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce that we've been partnering with to advance their mission as well as help them reach communities across the Northern Virginia area. And I also want to thank the Alliance Technology Consortium for participating in today's program as well. So in closing, thank you for allowing me to speak for a few minutes in your program. I hope that you find it constructive, thought-provoking, and it helps you create a brighter future for you and your business as you grow in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Have a great panel discussion.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Barry, from the Virginia Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Our sponsors this morning for this event are Alliance Technology Consortium, the Virginia Chamber of Commerce Foundation, CDP and Associates, and Fairfax County Economic Development Centers. So I would like to thank our sponsors for fiscally sponsoring and supporting the work of the Northern Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce.
With us today, we have three great professionals to talk with us about today's topics. I would like to take the time to introduce them, have them talk a little bit about themselves, and then we're going to get right into the discussion. So starting out, I'd like to welcome Dr. Trina Reuben. She's the managing partner of Acquisocre Research.
Thank you, Caprice. Hello, everyone. My name is Trina Reuben. I'm the managing partner of Acquisocre Research. We are based in Virginia. We are a research and data analytics company. We do everything from data management to predictive modeling. I have been doing data analytics since the 90s. I started out at a company called Reader's Digest, and I went on to work for several companies like IBM, MasterCard, and a number of different banks. So I have a experience in many different industries, and I'm looking forward to the conversation today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Next up, we have Dr. Herbert Thompson. He's the founder of Ken Consulting, Inc. Hi, Doctor.
Yes.
How are you?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you, Caprice. Yes, so my name is Herbert Thompson. I am the president of Ken Consulting. We are located in College Park, Maryland. Ken Consulting is a data science organization. Our capability lies within the areas of statistical analysis, predictive modeling, healthcare data analytics, survey research, program evaluation, and performance matrix development, right? We have been in business for 10 years, and we are happy to be a presenter on this panel.
Thank you for joining us. Last but not least, we have Mrs. Angela Harpalani. She's the CEO of Dimensional Concepts.
Dimensional Concepts has been around for more than 18 years. We focus in what we call business intelligence. I personally came out of the Federal Reserve banking system, where I learned to work with economists and a lot of the data statistics around what they were doing and wanted to achieve in their what they call the beige book. Currently, we are doing a lot of work with the Department of Defense in helping them manage their data when it comes to finance and budgeting. And over the years, we've kind of changed because we started out completely commercial work, doing World Bank and a lot of work for the healthcare industry, like Blue Cross Blue Shield and Care First. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Well, we're going to kick off today's session with a question for the panelists, and I'm going to start with Dr. Thompson. If you could tell us, what is big data and data analytics?
Okay, my notion of big data, and I think this could be a general notion, is a collection of data that is huge in volume, yet growing exponentially with time, right? It is a data with a large size and complexity that most, if not none, of the traditional data management tools can store or process it efficiently. So this is what I think big data is just the collection of huge amount of data, right? And data analytics piece of this is being able to, use that big data set, which is maybe complex, unstructured, in various forms, shape, and to be able to siphon it out to, into different segments or shapes or size, and to make sense out of it. And we find this, these data set in different industries. For example, in the healthcare industry, in the finance industry, in housing, right? And in business in general, and in government as well, right? One place where I would say you can find huge data that is, maybe structured or not structured is in, let's say, the federal procurement data system is, an area where you find a huge set of data that can be analyzed and combined into a way whereby you can draw intelligent conclusion and make informed decision from. Yeah. So,
Dr. Reuben?
I think Herbert, pretty much covered the basic definition. I guess I'd like to speak to in terms of over the years working at different companies with vast amounts of transactional data specifically, and in the financial sector as well as in the IT world, we've always had access to large amount of data. But the difference between what we were doing then versus what we're doing with big data now is, just the ability to be able to look at different types of data and to do enhance the analytic capabilities that we didn't have. In the past, we would have data in different silos and data marts all throughout the company, and that created security issues. So now with the storage capabilities, with the platforms that are enabling big data, it enhances the security of the data at a company, as well as allows a company to respond almost in real time to business questions or business issues as they come up. As you're showing on the screen, the types of data that we're getting now from social media, is very important for different companies in terms of their brand reputation and being able to respond to changes that are happening in the environment very quickly and respond to feedback that they may be getting through these social media platforms. So I think that's basically how I look at big data and its usefulness for businesses.
Ms. Harpalani.
Well, I agree with everything that's been said. I look at big data as being an infrastructure for storing large amounts of data. And when I look at, and also I had to bring up the Internet of Things too, because this is used with that term a lot when it comes to big data. Having no devices that connect is be able to connect and communicate with each other. So I would say that's part of that big data infrastructure. But the business analysis side is what we usually work with, and that's more along the lines of, for us, I would call it descriptive analytics, where we're taking dashboards and giving people the information they need from that structured or unstructured data that's sitting there.
For example, do you find like using those metrics to make business decisions, for example?
Oh, definitely.
Those expenses.
Definitely.
And one of the things that's driving big data, why it's very important for small businesses as well as minority businesses to start thinking about this, developing the concept and the likeness, because what is happening now, the fact that we have huge computers which are growing and able to store more and more data. That storage space is expanded exponentially. So we are able to capture more information, right? And then what do we do with that information once we capture it? We just don't leave it to store, or we just don't leave it at rest. We have to use it. And people are finding, you know, scientists, mathematicians, statisticians are finding ways by which they can use this data to make business intelligence, or to make sense out of it, or to, you know, answer questions. And also the ability that we have now that we may not have had in the past is this powers now the skills of combining data from various sources, right? Which could increase the size of the data that you maybe originally started off with. Because when you combine various data sets and then being able to massage it and to analyze it and to draw a conclusion from it, it's the way that the industry is going. And I would, you know, implore that all, you know, minority business look into this, because you know, computer space and computer crunching power are increasing exponentially by the day.
Michael, I think you have a slide that talks about the 3 top V's of big data. And I think it should, you know, just, yeah, if you just flash that, I mean, we don't need to get into like specific details of each of these, but I think, you know, when we're dealing with so much data, we have to be, you know, concerned with not just collecting the data. We need to really be collecting data because we know it's going to have value to our business and these V's are pretty much, you know, the big things you need to consider if you're thinking about going this route as a small business. I know that, you know, some of the biggest issues that I've seen is in terms of the not only the large volume of data, but also the validity of data, because, you know, we could be collecting data and it's data that it's not consistent, or it's data that will not be around for long. So if you're building models on information that, you know, might disappear in a year or so, you know, a lot of data we're collecting now may not be available. So, you know, there's different things you need to be aware of. I just thought it would be good. This would be a good place to kind of, you know, give a little information to some of our small businesses who are thinking about going this route.
Right.
Yeah, there are a number of different tools that are available to use. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard of some of the tools from IBM, Hadoop, and some of these other platforms. And you can do more research on your own, but it is expensive. And the bottom line is, if you go this route, you really want to know that you're going to be getting a return on your investment.
Right.
So I just wanted to make those points.
Thank you.
Well said. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I also want to say that, you know, yes, what Dr. Trina said, Dr. Reuben, is well taken, that the accuracy of the data is very, very important if you are collecting the data, right? Also, but if you are going to use the data, you know, to make sense out of it, and, you know, just earlier this week, and I think it was Tuesday, I was looking at the federal procurement data system, right? And now this is just a way by which you can use huge data to make, you know, intelligent move or informed decision, right? So I was tracking an opportunity through the Department of Ed, and I was able to go into the FPDS. I was able to drill down to see how much was being spent by a particular division within the Department of Ed. I was able to drill down and to see what companies were winning these contracts. I was able to drill down further to see, what vehicles these companies were using to win these contracts and how much they were, making, right? And so that information, I can use it to prepare myself for this opportunity, which is going to be ending in the next 6 months. So I'm positioning myself to either one, prepare to bid as a prime on this contract, because I know what vehicles being used in the past to acquire, that contract. I know I also have the past draft statement of work, and I know who won it. So here's what one can do, right? You can prepare yourself to prime, because you know what the price range is going to be, and you know what the statement of work. You can start develop your proposal. But you can also try to partner with the incumbent, right? And try to do some sub work. Yeah. So here's how you can use big data to grow your business. So big data analytic is really it's the future. And as I said, the future is now. So a minority business need to jump on board and start thinking about how we can use these analytical tools. I was just using Excel to do this. There are other more powerful tools out there that you can use to drill down and to get this intelligence to make to grow your business.
Right.
So,
I agree with Dr. Thompson on that one. When we first started as a business, we didn't have the money for the Bloombergs and the GovWins, and that's what we had to learn. We went to FPDFs and USN, and we were able to collect that data. And when you get a little bit bigger, you will move to those other platforms. That's just nature, because it takes time to do that also. So bringing that up, we did a project. We gave a presentation to a mid-sized company that did airplane parts, and they did business all around the world, and they wanted to understand their solicitations. They didn't have the time to look at every single solicitation, and they wanted us to extract the information from a number of sources, and so they can get the solicitation that were more geared towards them. It can be interesting and challenging, but it can be done. So small businesses, like Dr. Herbert said, you can, Dr. Thompson said, you can start at that small area, and you can collect a lot of information on your own if you need to.
right, yes.
Great, thank you. I thank the panelists for answering the first question. We're going to move on to our next subject. What is artificial intelligence? And I think I'm going to start with Miss Angela.
Sure. Well, artificial intelligence has been around for a long time. I think it's been around since the 1956, and it's been in academia that long before we ever even knew it was there. To me, it's the definition that I've come up in my head is that it's anything and everything that has an aspect of learning and features some type of intelligence, a machine can learn and do. That's how I see artificial intelligence. But like I said, it's been around for many years. So now it's become part of our commercial world, and now everyone's doing it. And it's interesting and it's fascinating. Now it's out there and people are looking at it. And well, I think we'll talk more about it later, but my car has artificial intelligence. I come from a car that I had for 15 years that had no technology, and now I have a car that has that technology, and it keeps me from being locked out of my car. It tells me my car is not locked. It sends me text messages. So we've come a long way over the years. So that's what artificial intelligence is to me. So.
Great, thank you. Mr. Thompson?
Yes, again, my notion of artificial intelligence is I would say, a constellation of many different technologies working together to enable machine to sense, comprehend, act, and learn with human levels of intelligence. And you know, in a nutshell, you know, that's what it is. As Angela said, you know, these days, your very car, not only that, your toaster oven, your refrigerator has artificial intelligence. Your refrigerator can tell you now, you know, when it's running, you're running out of certain product. And it can go beyond that. It can even order, you know, those products for you. Oh, you only have, you know, 1 box of milk left on your shelf, and it can order that. So, you know, this is where technology is going, and we need to get on board with it as you know, minority businesses. We just need to face it. It appears to be daunting, but it can be done. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Ms. Trina?
Yeah, yeah, you know, I agree with all the definitions. You know, and to me, you know, it's really AI is the programming of computers to process data more quickly and more efficiently than a human brain can. And the reason small businesses would want to use AI is really to optimize their operations, to automate services, and to improve their customer interactions and experiences. And I think, you know, I mean, AI is touching, you know, almost every area, every industry at this point. Yeah, I think there was a slide in this presentation which, you know, talks about some of the examples. You know, for example, like autonomous cars that are being developed by Tesla. When you use Amazon, they're able to make product recommendations to you based on, you know, your viewing patterns and information they have on your ordering history. In education, AI is present in terms of adaptive learning and student based on student interactions. In finance, you see it an investment in with trading algorithms. And in financial world, where I come from, you will see it used for identifying fraud detection and also for trading algorithms. And recently, my company has been doing some creating some demos around natural language processing, looking at social media data and doing some sentiment analysis. So again, going back to brands and reputation and trying to analyze that kind of data. So those are just some examples, and there are many tools that are available to small businesses that are, you know, just cost effective. You know, in terms of there's different plugins that you may have access to for your websites that include things like chatbots and AI applications that can create logos and can create content for you. So there, you know, for a small business, it is accessible, and there are ways you can utilize it to make your business run more efficiently. Right. And, you know, to maximize and optimize the resources you have.
Thank you.
About, you know, making your business more efficiently and save time and save money too, right? I did a project for Wells Fargo Bank, right, called Risk Insight Modeling. And basically what it is that when a person applies for a loan, right, that information goes into the computer. The computer pulls the person's credit history, the number of jobs you have had, how frequently you change jobs, of course, your credit score, how long you stayed on the job, you know, information like that, right? And then it spits out a probability of risk, right? So, you know, that's part of intelligence. And, you know, so I would say maybe 20 years ago, you would have a whole department of people going through paperwork trying to do this, right? Now it's in a matter of seconds. It crunch out this and then assign a level of risk to that loan. And then, you know, the decision maker decide whether or not you are a risky lender or a lender that is going to repay them the loan back. So, you know, so that's where the industry is going. And I think we need to jump on board. You know, as a group, we need to be creating some of these things, not only be using them, but creating some of these algorithms, you know, that we can sell and expand our business growth and our income stream.
And I know we talked a little bit about how AI is affected in the workforce and how, and can someone kind of touch on that? How the workforce is going and how to actually position our youth to start thinking a little bit about how to go into these fields.
Well, for us, when we started this 18 years ago, I can find an African-American developer to do some of the work that I had to have done. And it made me realize that maybe we as employers need to bring on people and at least get them give them the opportunity to do 2 years of internship in this area, and maybe that'll influence them to go out and get a degree. And I don't even think a 4-year degree in this industry is needed. I think a 2-year is good enough with the certifications out there. So I think we need to get our people more involved in this area because they are going to be needed. I brought in my first Hispanic consultant he's a data scientist, and I'm very pleased with him. And I just like to see more Hispanics and more African Americans get involved in this industry because it's a lucrative industry, it really is.
Yeah, I would echo that. You know, it's estimated that, you know, 54 million jobs will be digitized by 2030. And that came out of a study done by McKinsey. And it really has a lot to do with all of the automation that is going on, you know, as it relates to AI and other techniques. So in the work that I do, looking at workforce development, you know, I'm always looking at what are the skills employers are looking for, and also looking at it, you know, from a standpoint of underrepresented communities. As Angela said, there is a way to use certifications as a foot in the door, as an entry-level position. And I agree, you do not need to have a degree for entry-level positions. There are companies like Google and I believe Microsoft, AWS, they offer certifications. Some of their programs are free. So for, you know, younger people, they can get into this field at the entry level. But when you go, when you're looking at things at more of the advanced analytics that are required in AI, some of the programming that is needed, you're getting into a realm where you do need to have advanced degrees, right? In computer science, if you're doing data engineering, you know, advanced degree in some statistics related field. So yes, I think there are a lot of opportunities to start and get some exposure. I actually have had an intern, and you know, a high school intern who students nowadays, you know, today they can program and they can do a lot of different things starting at a young age, and you know, really, you know, they can start as young, I think, as middle school. And I've also done workshops at some schools, you know, to introduce data analytics, data visualization. And, you know, when I talk to the students, a lot of them weren't even aware that there were jobs and opportunities in this field. So yeah, that's basically my experience in this area.
Thank you, guys.
We have had, hard times finding minorities who are in the statistics, data analytics area. It's almost, tough for us to find people. A couple of months ago, I was doing a proposal for NSF, and we were trying to find someone with research methodology experience, and I could not find one minority, right? So we had to take, someone else. So I think we really do need to get out into the schools from, I would say, middle school, and encourage these kids that math, is a way to go. I've spoken to quite a few students, and they tell me that, oh, if I have a math degree, I can't get a job. Who's hiring, mathematicians? Yeah, they just don't know. So we need to go out to let them, become aware of all the possibilities in digital technology, artificial intelligence, data analysis, because they're not aware that they can get degrees if they study math. Being a basketball player, being a football player, I would say it's good. But we really do need our people in math and science some more, in the biology, in the mathematical field. And I think we need to reach out to the schools and the teachers who are teaching these subjects to be able to develop curriculum in such a way that it will attract the students so that they, would be interested in it. I've told some of my mentees that math is easy because once you learn how to, add, multiply, subtract, and divide, the rest of it is just procedures. Yeah, you just have to follow these steps and do things, right? So
we're with you when I need to do in algorithms.
Exactly.
And once we can get this, get them to analyze, to understand it from that standpoint, is that that's not as difficult as they think it is. I think we will attract more minority in the field.
But I think we need to encourage more than anything else, because I remember, and I'm really dating myself here, years ago taking a COBOL class. I was the only minority in the class. I was the only woman in the class, and no one was encouraging me to do that. Statistics class, I was the only female in it, and the only African American in it. It was a lot of Asians in it, a lot of white people, but not any African Americans. Right. So, and no one was encouraging me at all. So I'm just saying we need to encourage this. I'm not quite sure how, but as far as our business is concerned, we can start there and in our community and try to get the word out. Because this is important. I think it's very important that we encourage our young women, our young African-American men, that this is something that they should at least look at.
Right.
I agree with all of you. I think it's very important for you to know that science and technology is actually cool and profitable.
Yeah.
So I agree with all of you. I think that segues into our next question. How are minority-owned small businesses being impacted by AI, big data, and data analytics? I think we've been touching on a little bit of this, but if each of you could, take a moment to really dive into what your thoughts are. I'll start with you, Angela, if you don't mind.
Oh, me again, huh? Okay. Everyone should be impacted. Every minority owner needs to understand it will impact their business, their revenue, their culture. And when I say that, I'm saying it from, we all have data in our businesses, and sometimes we have so much data, we don't know what to make of it. But if we could pull that data together and make sense of it, we'll understand our financials, we'll understand, are we accomplishing our mission that we want in our business? So yes, I think we are all impacted by it, especially small businesses. No, it doesn't matter whether you're in retail or you own restaurants or you're a big company. We all need that information. So if you could, if I could leave anything with you, you know, you need to understand, wrap yourself around the information in your business and make sense of it. So that's my spill on that one.
Trina?
Well, well, you know, the field of AI and data analytics is growing. It's one of the fastest growing fields. There was some analysis done or a report that said that the field is expected to grow to almost $16 trillion by 2030, and that was done by PricewaterhouseCoopers. So what does that mean for minority businesses? Well, if we're not in the space and we're not playing, we're missing out big time. You know, not only are we missing out in terms of, you know, our competitors are going to be able to move faster and more efficiently and with less resources, but, you know, as jobs move, you know, move away from some of the traditional services, some of the services that we may provide that can now be automated, we will lose out on, you know, huge opportunities. And I think as a business owner, as a small business owner, I would be talking to consultants like myself and Angela and Herbert in terms of, you know, figuring out how I could optimize the use of the data that I have in my company. For some people, it may mean just, you know, starting with collecting data to look at the performance of their company or reporting. And for some people, they may be ready for doing predictive analytics and things of that nature. But if you have someone come in and talk to you and really help you strategize around that, that would, you know, be something you can do. You can also do research on in places like LinkedIn. Try to find the experts in these areas and look for white papers, and especially as they relate to your industry. Keep on top of what's happening in your industry. I think for anyone that's looking to adopt any of these more advanced analytics related to big data and AI, you know, you really have to look at the practical issues related to that, and that will, you know, you will have to determine if you're ready for that. You will need to do some pilot testing, things of that nature, to really make sure that you're getting the return on your investment. And, you know, you have to also be aware that as you're doing data analytics and predictive modeling and things of that nature, you have to be aware of some of the pitfalls and some of the issues you can run into as far as not only with data security and privacy issues, but also with creating models that could be biased against a group of people or discriminate against a group of people. So it's important to really understand those issues, have people on your team that can help you, you know, whether that person is in-house or an outside consultant. So those are the main things I would really stress as a small business who may be thinking about doing more in this area.
Dr. Thompson, what are your thoughts?
Yes, my thought is how are minority businesses impacted by big data and AI? My thought is that we have been left behind. That's how it has impacted us. It has left us behind, but we're not late. It's not too late to get in the game and become a winner. I really see that, you know, what small businesses need to learn is how to analyze and how to collect analyze these big data sources out there to make business decisions to benefit themselves and to also help to reduce costs in the long run for their business, help to put them a step ahead of the game, right? But not only that, not only being a consumer, but also how can we get together and decide what product we can generate or we can create with this data out there, just as how maybe GovWin can use SAM and FPDS and US spending and so forth to come up with a product that they are making money from. I mean, we can start thinking about how can we use the social media data to develop products that we can generate income from, and we can employ our people. So that's the way I think we should go. The other thing is that we should try to encourage our people to get into the maths and sciences more, get out in the schools, the middle school especially, and start from an early age to encourage our young people to get into, to like math, to like science, to focus in those areas, because there are, lots of jobs that will be coming out of that, out of those areas. Look at it, in the aerospace industry. 10 years ago, I was trying to encourage young people to get into aerospace. Now aerospace is becoming a big thing. It's, it's commercialized, and there's a shortage of aerospace engineers. Yeah. So
I like what Dr. Thompson was saying. He said, get in the game. And when you said get in the game, I thought about the movie Moneyball for some strange reason, and how I think Billy Beans of the Oakland Aids, took a economist who did some predictive analytics for baseball, and how he used that to determine, how the game should be played and how he could win. And I think about that when you say get in the game. And I think that's what we need to do as African Americans. Let's get in the game,
Right, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to kind of tag along to what everyone has said, I think for small businesses, there are so many opportunities to utilize data. Data is just information. How is it going to help you to make your business better for growth in the future? How can you use that information to help your community? How can you help use that information to bring on youth in our community to move forward with bringing out new products and so forth? So I think there are so many opportunities with AI, with data analytics. It doesn't necessarily mean you have big data, just depending on what your particular goods and services are. But if you're in a call center, maybe you need a voice recognition system. If you're doing a lot of financials, maybe you need Power BI dashboards and, those reports that are going to help you to make those business decisions. So I think the summary is that there are opportunities for us as a community to really utilize the tools that are there. Not necessarily have to spend a lot of money, but use it to your benefit as and to grow.
Yeah, and not only to use it not only to become a consumer. I like to become a creator. There are a lot of opportunities to become a creator. We could look at a set of, say, financial data and think of what tool could we create out of this, right? Can we tweak and turn some existing tool to develop a new product or a new tool? So I like to see that part of it too, that minority business get involved in the creation piece of things, become the leaders, not only the users. Right. So
thank you all. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say, I like the fact about being an innovator, because especially in the millennial generation and the younger generation, they are branding themselves. And so the use of influencer marketing, creating product that revolves around their purpose and their mission, I think, you know, they're definitely thinking about how you do your traditional marketing, but they are embracing a lot of the technology so that they can look at their data and make decisions upon their personal branding.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Any final words, guys?
I think we are off to a good start. I think it's never too late, you know, for us to encourage our people to get involved. There's still a lot of work to be done, and a lot of innovation that can come out of this. So I think now is the right time to get started, right? Yeah, and you know, we have to be cognizant that the computing power is even getting larger and larger. Let's, take advantage of that. And one main thing is that we should become innovators along, with consumers, and just not become consumers alone, but become a leader of the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the slide that was up earlier about the devices. Can we show that one again?
Hi, Sheila. I had one quick comment.
Sure. Hi, Reuben.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? I was kind of trying to think of something that could piggyback into what we're talking about. And I just remembered, I'm the office manager at a law firm here in minority-owned law firm here in Woodbridge. And we've been doing regular, so we have a website and all like that. And for the first 5 or 6 years, we had a lead generation system where folks could do a search on the internet and get pull us up and whatnot through a third party. They search, family law, and the third party would pop up, and then they would drive them to us. But recently, but we found that we kept getting so many hits, so many people contacting us, that, and they were, let's say, not in the criteria of what let's say they were not in, they could not pay what we needed them to pay. I'll put it like that. That may be the easiest way to do it. So now what we've actually, a friend of ours told us about this system, and this Geo Targeting, and I was somewhat familiar with it from where I used to work at the patent office, and some of the types of targeting systems that are out there. But this one is kind of neat. And I would encourage anybody, if you have a certain kind of business, you may want to look into these kinds of things. What it does is, let's say somebody goes into a Walmart or a Best Buy, whatever the store is. When you walk in, they, it can be a system that can read your phone. It comes in, it knows who you are based on who your phone, like Mr. Thompson was talking about, the big data that's associated with that person. So they may know, based on that information, your salary, or not so much your salary, but your age. Maybe it may even know maybe could even pull your salary or certain kinds of things like that. Yeah, and then based on that, yeah, exactly. Your habits, right? Your habits. Yeah, yes. And so what it can do is it can send a ad from, let's say, our law firm to a person's phone that they would get. Let's say maybe they go on Facebook or do some other link into some of the social media. They will get an ad, but the ad will be targeted based on, let's say we're doing trust in the estates, and maybe we were looking for folks who maybe have an income, let's say of 50,000 or 100,000 more. So that's just one criteria, but it's a whole range of things. And you're right. This is the way it's going. Me personally, I was kind of reluctant because I was like, man, I sometimes don't like when I get those ads. Like, why are they sending me this? But as he said, this is where it's at.
You You make a really great point, Reuben, because, well, next week we'll be talking about cybersecurity. And so how does this new AI affect cybersecurity and our protection as consumers or as business owners? So thanks for bringing that up.
Mhm.
We have about 5 minutes left. Do we have any final thoughts from our panelists?
Yeah, I think we as leaders are who have been sort of energized and who are cognizant of the direction where things are going. I think we owe it on ourselves and our race and our brothers and sisters to go out and spread the word. But not only that, we need to come together and work together to see, how we can become a force to be innovative, with all this big data that is out there, right? How can we partner, on some opportunities or some research or develop some unsolicited, paper, share ideas, yeah. But the greatest thing is to become innovative and be a leader and take our own share of the market. Yeah. Yeah. And then by so doing, we'll set examples for the younger generation, right? Yeah. So we will be the foundation on which the younger generations, thrive. Yeah.
And I believe Paul had his hand up as well.
Yes, I just wanted to say that particularly as small businesses, one of the things we have done to help us master some of the new technologies, but also get access to it, is as a small business, think about reaching out to your local universities. They often have programs and are interested in solving small business problems. Some of it is class projects for folks. Some of it is the university just trying to get their foot in the door in a certain area and become known for that. So consider the university model of reaching out to them to assist you with what you're doing.
Great.
Thank you.
Trina, any final thoughts? And then we'll go to Angela and then Caprice.
Yeah, I really appreciated Reuben's example, of not, just taking the plunge and not being afraid to try something new. And as you can see in his example, it really helped his bottom line. And, I know as a business, you're always aware of what your competitors are doing. I would say stay ahead of the curve. You don't want to fall behind. So definitely embrace the new changes that are coming as a result of the progress that's being made in data analytics.
I'll concur.
As for me, I would say, based on what Paul had brought up about reaching out to the universities, I would say also reach out to government agencies. They have a lot of technology sitting out there already, and you're welcome to it if you go through the process to make it better, to improve on it. There's a lot of things that a lot of businesses can do to bring themselves into this new world that we have going on that's changing constantly when it comes to technology. And I really want to see people, at least minorities, move from just being a consumer to being innovators.
Innovators, yeah.
Information is key. That's what I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great. Well, I want to thank everybody for being on the call, and I definitely want to thank our panelists for their time and their expertise. So thank you, Caprice, Dr. Trina, Dr. Thompson, and Angela, and of course, Paul. And just want to take a moment to also thank our sponsors for today's event. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 11 o'clock, where we will discuss cybersecurity and small businesses. So thank you, everybody, for being on the call.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Good rest of the day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.